hello and welcome to Bobo Bun. Yet again, it's been a long old time. I don't know where the time goes. I've got so many things I want to show you. Today I'm going to share with you what I've been sewing recently. I've got Patreon makes, I've got some amazing vintage clothing finds I want to share with you, vintage patterns, yeah, all sorts of things, and then inspiration from novels. I've got it all planned out, so definitely be sharing with you the vintage clothing finds next time we get together. Aim is to film that tomorrow, so I'm getting ahead of myself because I really miss being on here. I'm so sorry, and you gave me a lovely welcome back after a little respite. I mean, it wasn't very long, probably a month or so, but yeah, trying to get back in the saddle with the filming once more. So I'm going to share with you today what I've been sewing recently, and before that I'll tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a lovely cardigan knitted from Linda's Tyrolean Knits, and it's meant to have sort of like squares of bobbles over, and then there'd be embroidery flowers in it. I chose to do it plain, and if I stand up you'll see it's got like a stepped ribbed waistband. And then I've got my home front overalls on, the dungarees, and then that Wearing History, and the Wearing History smooth sailing blouse, you can see with this lovely poofy short sleeves, you know, the poofy sleeve head, and a 40s brooch, and my B for Bobo Bun brooch also, and red Converse on the bottom. I wore this outfit for dancing last night, so it was clean on for dancing last night, and then I've popped it on again today because I feel really comfy in it. It's spring weather here, so there's a lot of planning in my head for what I want to be wearing. It's not warm enough for bare legs yet, but yeah, it's just like cardigans and light jackets sort of weather. It's really glorious. So I've got two pairs of wide leg wool trousers from the Wearing History overalls. I really love them as a trouser pattern because they're so slim fitting on the hips, you know, the side button enclosure, and then they just you know, flare out into wide leg trousers. I feel really good in them, so I decided I needed some more. For some reason I got it in my head, I haven't got the fabric anymore. I needed a green pair, and I found this amazing green, and I cut it out, popped them on, you know, once I'd got so far with the sewing, I popped them on, and I thought, oh my goodness, I look like I'm wearing a B&Q outfit. If you're overseas, B&Q is like you know, a DIY store, so yeah, I didn't really want to look like I worked for B&Q. It totally put me off these green trousers, so they've gone to the charity shop, and hopefully they'll be useful for somebody else. So I try and find under my piles here. I've put various things here to show you. So then I think I saw on Vivian of Holloway a lovely rose pink pair of wide leg trousers, and I'm doing the buttons up I've just done. I've got to hem them still, but they're here on my lap right now, and some threads that need removing. So I decided I need a rose pink pair. So I went to my local fabric store and I had a look, and I don't know, this isn't going to show up on the monitor as beautiful as the colour is. It's probably going to look quite sort of washed out. But I've already made them, lined the pockets in a Liberty print with some vintage cream buttons down the side. So I've got this pair ready for spring, which I think will go lovely with creams, blacks, navies, you know, browns. It'll just mix in with lots of other colours. So with that in mind, I've got a denim pair of these as well, wide leg trousers that I wear, so, and a black pair. So the black ones will kind of move into spring summerish, but I wear them more in the winter. Two wool pairs, so I just needed more spring summer ones. So to go with them, always want a jersey sort of boat neck top. So this is the Gable by Jennifer Lauren, who's a New Zealand designer, and then it's Tilly and the Buttons Agnes sleeve that's got elastic here, so it ruches it up with a puffed high sleeve head, and it's sort of an elbow length sleeve. So I've made this, which will go with denim and all sorts, and it goes really lovely with one of the vintage finds that I'm going to show you in my next video. So I've been wearing this one a lot, and then fresh off the machine from yesterday is a navy one. Just seeing a mark on the back there. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's a little blue mark in the stripe. So yeah, a navy one, which will go with all sorts of colours. And on the line, I've got a red and white stripe, you know, in the fine stripe that I've used here. There's also a mustard, you know, like a paley mustard one, or maybe more towards yellow, but I really, really fancy getting that too. So to go with the navy, I think this is the front of the trouser. I don't know where the other bit's gone. I've already cut out a navy pair, and this is a really floaty, it's a sort of polyester crepe. I'm going to half line it so that the bottom doesn't get too stretched out. And I've changed the tucks on the front of the home front overalls to be front darts rather than put pockets on these ones. It's just a floaty fabric and I want a nice smooth line with these. So navy trousers are coming also. So that's kind of my everyday spring wear. Then I've been working on projects for my Patreon, and I've got some other just me sews to show you, but this was last month's Patreon, this jacket here, which I will pop on and show you, and I called it the Lumberjill jacket, and it's a denim jacket. I mean, I'm going to be doing double denim, so this is going to be quite shock horror, but I think double denim was bad in the 80s when it was like snow wash denim. That really wasn't a good look, was it? I'm just trying to struggle it on while I'm sitting still. So this jacket was based on originally from the Eisenhower or Ike jackets from the war, you know, General Eisenhower. And then they were called Lumberjills, you know, shortened and feminised. And then I've added some different touches. I've raised the sleeve head so a little bit more poofy. I've given the collars a bit more of a dagger shape, and the back collar comes down to a V and the back yoke comes into a V, and then it's slightly gathered at the waistband all the way around, and you see the cuffs have got a diamond point on them too. Can't do this one up because I've got to move the button over. I sewed it over too far. But it's got this lovely gold bronze top stitching, and then I picked these gold buttons. I didn't have any in my stash. I have got so many vintage buttons in my stash, but hadn't got anything that was just right, so I got these gold ones. And I've got an original WVS, you know, Women's Voluntary Service badge that I popped on it, and a 1940s brooch also, you know, a felt floral 1940s brooch. So I'll just stand up to show you this jacket. There we go. So if you can see all of this, so it just slightly gathers in there, and they're bishop sleeves, so nice long bishop sleeves, and it just fits in just on the waistline. So really, really pleased with this jacket. I've worn it loads, and obviously it looks so much better rather than being worn with denim. I had made a version before. I made it for my Patreon in black cord, which I wear a fair bit, and then last month that was the project we looked at, what women wore working in active service in the services. That was my break time news chat, and the Lumberjill jacket was the project. And then my upper tier patrons, we went through how you can renovate, repair, alter, make the most of your existing clothes, you know, in the wartime spirit, from an original sewing book from the 1940s. So there's a lot going on. This month, there's so many exciting things coming. I'm really pleased. I'm busy beavering away on it, and I will be sharing very, very soon with my patrons what we're doing. I've given them a little clue on what the project will be. Now, on other sewing, this here is, I don't know if you can see the sparkles in it. It's quite a textured black jersey with a sparkle in it, and this is from Gertie. When I used to belong to her Patreon, Gertie of Charm Patterns, this was a society dress, so it's a 1940s style t-shirt dress. I've made one in black polka dot, and I just wanted a plain black one. So, you know, this has got a yoke and a midriff, so I've got to finish the sleeves, a little tuck on there, and I realise I've made the body a little bit long, so I've got to take the midriff off and move it up. Hence it's sitting here just as a bodice. The skirt's made, but it hasn't been finished. Fortunately, I used Maraflex thread, which obviously is an absolute godsend. I don't know if you've got that over sees yet, but it's fabulous for sewing jersey because it's a thread that stretches with a jersey, so you can do a normal stitch and unpick any mistakes really easily, which is the best thing, because unpicking jersey when you're using a lightning stitch, which is quite small, is a total nightmare. Now, in other sewing news, I feel I'm racing through. I will grab this dress here as the first thing. It's inside out. I might have shown you this dress. It's a beautiful black polka dot silk, and luckily it was reduced from £30 a metre, so I got this to make another pattern that I did my patrons, which I think was last summer, called the Cocoa dress, inspired from I think it's 1931 dress by Coco Chanel, with this yoke and a double bow at the neckline, you know, so it's like a keyhole with two bows. And then I'd put in my Vampire's Wife skyrocket sleeves, and it's got an A-line skirt to it, and the neck's all bias bound. And stupidly, I didn't cut the back on the fold. I forgot that I was putting in a side zip with this one, so I had to sew the back centre seam up. So that's really annoying. It's not the end of the world, but I was annoyed with myself for that. It just needs the sleeves. The sleeves have got to come out and be done again. I'm not happy with the sleeves, so I've got to redo those, annoyingly. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the silk slipped as I was cutting it, but yeah, one's right and one's not, and it's all French seam, so it's lots of unpicking and being aware of that minimal seam allowance I've got with the sleeve head, you know, on the arm side when I go to sew them in. But other than that, it's all ready to wear, so I need to get this one finished. So yeah, I've got a few things all ready for spring. Now the other two makes I've got, and I've got this beautiful fabric on my lap that I'm fiddling with. I was looking through the Merchant & Mills book, and the heron top in there, which I've seen other people on Instagram worn, you know, made, and I really loved it. It's got a Reva collar and it's a short wrap top, and it's got a real 50s style to me. Obviously it's a contemporary top, but it's got a real nod to, you know, vintage inspired, and I could absolutely see it, you know, with wide leg trousers with a full skirt. So I had a go at making one. I copied the pattern out and I quickly whipped one up, not from the fabric I necessarily was going to make it in, but fabric I'd bought to make a blouse in and hadn't decided what the blouse was going to be. So I thought 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to cut this fabric out, and by the morning I'd made the heron top. It came together really, really quickly, and it's on Foxy Ladies, so would you like to see? So there's the heron top, that lovely wrap. You see there's a tie here, so it goes all the way around the back, crossover, and this lovely Reva collar here, and the sleeves, there's not much differentiation. It just sort of carries on down into the side, and then you turn the sleeves back, so you obviously sew to a certain point. It's meant to have side splits, but I didn't like those, so I sewed those up. And then you see the tie comes all the way round at the back. And I mean, this is quite a silky feeling. I don't know what this fabric is, can't remember, but I mean, it's a really lovely bold dogtooth check, isn't it? And I'm now thinking about shortening the pattern at the waist and carrying it on to make it into a dress, because I think this would be an amazing wrap dress. So to go with my other pairs of trousers, I thought I'd get a nice just basic white, and this is a really soft crepe. It's really beautiful. I normally would go for a cream, but I thought no, I want a white. Whites and creams do really suit me. Dark hair, red lips, but I have to be careful not to have lipstick on my fingers and mark it. But this is so fluid, it's beautiful, and it's not too see-through, because I don't wear white bras, so not too see-through. But I'm going to make another heron top out of this, just so it's a bit more of a capsule wardrobe, things that will mix and match, you know, with the trousers and the tops. And I've also got some black fabric that was left over from last year, so I'm going to make myself another four gauge skirt with probably my heart pockets. That's what I'm thinking of doing. So I've got a really sort of a good run of basics that will all mix and match just coming into the new season. I've got fabric to make some dresses for summer, so that can all wait for another time. This is kind of the start of spring sewing. I have to say, in terms of knitting, I haven't knitted for months probably. I've got a cream cardigan, I probably said this to you before, I just haven't finished. I've just not found the time, and I've just realised I made a lovely latte and I've not drunk it. It's going cold. That's not good, is it? I started talking to you and totally forgot about my coffee. So in terms of sewing, they're all the bits that are going on at the moment, bits to finish up, and I've got 2 dresses to finish up that I've started as well. I haven't shown you those. I think you probably saw them a while ago. But in other bits of news, I've got obviously my sewing classes that are going on, patrons going on. I've got some fashion history lectures that I've got to write to deliver to a lovely group. I've got about 3 lectures to give to those. This year I've joined the Costume Textiles Association that's here in the city I live, and they've got an amazing collection from, I think, the 1700s, probably some older than that. And the clothes that they have in their collection are unbelievable. And as they're pieces that are really interesting and really good, but they're not good enough for museum quality, it means you can handle them. You can actually look at the inside, you can see how they're made, and just be overwhelmed and inspired. And so I've got various talks booked with them. One is a whole day, it's coming up soon, for a whole day looking at bias cut clothes from Vionnet and onwards. So that will be super exciting. There's a talk with Patrick Grant coming. I think there's a Hollywood glamour from the 1930s, and I think there's one where I'm going, there'll be some pieces from Schiaparelli and Chanel, so and Jean Farron. So yeah, absolutely full of all vintage sewing and sewing excitement and joys. So yeah, lots to share. So that's me for now in terms of the sewing. I promise I will get, because I mean I'm looking at some of the vintage clothing pieces hanging up just behind me, so I definitely will be sharing those with you because I'm so thrilled and excited with the bits I found. So until I join you again, and I promise much sooner than it was last time, so thank you so much for joining me today. And if you enjoy what I do here, then please tell your friends, share, like and comment, and then we can chat a bit more. So until next time, I shall say bye bye for now. See you again very soon.